Hey everyone, I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business, and today we're going to be talking about THORSwap and how it is essentially the best decentralized smart contract swap exchange that is decentralized. So what do I mean by that? That is a big mouthful. There are centralized swap exchanges that are it's a mix between centralized and decentralized swap exchange. Essentially, it's an exchange that is technically decentralized because, like you don't have KYC and stuff, but it's not all run through the blockchain. So there's issues with, like, for example, on SimpleSwap, it could take up to like 4 hours. So you're waiting there for quite some time for it to actually go through, which would also make me question, are they trying to trade and get some arbitrage in that 4 hours and then finally giving me back what's left and trying to get a profit in between? I don't know. But then you have better ones, like I believe it's sideshift.ai. I'll bring it up in a moment, but that only takes like 5 minutes. So it feels much more secure, but it's essentially the same level of security realistically. Then you've got smart contract swap exchanges like Uniswap or PancakeSwap, where you are trading between tokens and the main currency of a single cryptocurrency. So Uniswap, for example, trades ERC20 tokens on the Ethereum blockchain. PancakeSwap trades BEP20 tokens on the Binance Smart Chain blockchain. Essentially, it's just you're trading within that ecosystem and you can't trade outside of it. So I couldn't trade a Binance Smart Chain token for an Ethereum token. THORSwap is the solution that we need to be able to bridge that gap. We're going to be talking about it and its cryptocurrency RUNE in just a moment after a word from my sponsor today.
A big thank you and shout out to my sponsor Cake Wallet, which is an open source, non-custodial Bitcoin and Monero wallet that also has a built-in exchange. It's available on iOS and Android.
Okay, so we're going to be diving into THORSwap mainly, not really looking too much into the tokenomics of RUNE, but more so focused on the functionality of this swap exchange and how to use it and why I think it is so important to understand and actually start using. Again, the reason that smart contracts being used for the exchanges is to bridge that gap of security and ensuring everything is on the blockchain. Because essentially, an exchange like SimpleSwap or Block Trades or SideShift, you're sending them the crypto, trusting them as the third party in escrow who's going to, hold your money, hold the other money, and get you the trade and do everything. And you're just trusting that they're actually going to do everything correctly and hoping that there's no human errors along the way. But with a smart contract, you're coding all of this into the blockchain and ensuring that there's essentially no human errors and that everything, if everything runs through the blockchain smoothly, it would all just be verified and confirmed. And there should be no issues of, oh, is this going to go through and anything like that. It should be nearly instantaneous and be the most secure possible way for you to trade. So now when we have THORSwap come in, they offer us the ability to trade with other chains that we could previously not interact with. This gives us more options and more usability and functionality to trade between other cryptocurrencies in a decentralized way while still keeping the highest level of security and not having any concerns about human errors and things like that, or the amount of time it might take to perform a swap. So we're going to be diving into all of that right now. This is THORSwap. You can get here by going to app.thorswap.finance. Thor is essentially like the main sort of like Thor Finance is like the concept or like the name of this blockchain in crypto, but the crypto itself, the actual coin, the cryptocurrency is called RUNE. That is their native token. And as you can see, they recently added Doge to THORSwap. I'm not a huge fan of Doge, but if they're going to keep adding more and more coins and more functionality, I can't really complain. It's for the best. And because of this, RUNE went up a bunch today. So really, I can't be complaining about it. So, it is what it is. And they actually are adding Monero very soon. So you have a privacy option. I will note that they only have one option for a stablecoin, which is BUSD. I'd like to see more options so that we can really have the best possible solution out there to cover more things. I mean, this is the most effective solution, but it might not be the best because it hasn't covered everything yet. It's still only covering, a small handful of coins, and thus it might not even have something that you might want to use. And the main ones that you're going to use and connect and utilize, I believe, are, let's bring it up right here. Thor, so RUNE, Terra, Luna, Ethereum, and Binance. So you can utilize a lot of their tokens as well. So there'll be ERC20 and BEP20, and I'm sure they're going to keep adding more and more and more. But there's a lot of different wallets that you can connect to this, as well as you can go down to wallet on the side here, and you can individually connect wallets for different coins if that's what you want to do. But this way just allows you to do everything within one wallet. And they basically give you access to tons and tons of different things. For me, I think it's the simplest to use Wallet Connect, but that's just what I'm personally using. Before we actually get into all of this, I wanted to show you what it looks like to do a swap on a non-smart contract swap exchange like SideShift, for example. And also, all this stuff on the side, we're not going to be getting into any of this, but you can also deposit and provide liquidity for a lot of these swaps. And supposedly you could earn a great deal on actually doing this. If you check out the pools, you can earn an insane APY. I don't really trust the idea of having of leaving my coins anywhere, or it's just not really for me. I see why it makes sense to a lot of people. Liquidity providing is extremely profitable. Clearly, these APYs offer really good returns, but personally, I stick to around 15% or less because I want to aim for something that's super reasonable, sustainable, consistent. I don't want it changing all the time. I don't want large fluctuations. I don't want it to be going down over time and not being sustainable. A lot of these kinds of things I've explained previously, but there's all these options for you guys on here. So let's quickly take a look at sideshift.ai. And by the way, this is the best and most, it's the fastest and most effective swap exchange that I've ever used that is not using smart contracts. So it is not, very, very, very secure, but this is the best that I've seen so far. This is what Re.cash uses to allow you to withdraw your crypto in something other than Bitcoin Cash. And that's how I found out about them. Block Trades is pretty good too. Simple Swap is extremely slow compared to ones like this and Block Trades. The good thing about this too is you know exactly when it's going to happen and when it's counting down, whereas something like Simple Swap is very ambiguous. So my go-to swap exchanges have been SideShift and Block Trades. I will do a whole breakdown on swap exchanges, decentralized exchanges, and centralized exchanges in the future, but that is going to be a very, very long episode. Just know that, as far as I know, this is probably one of the most effective non-smart contract swap exchanges. So I will do a quick example here of what this looks like, but I won't actually bother to actually go through and, well, no, we might as well just for the sake of demonstrating. So let's do Binance. So I've decided I'm going to send some BNB for Bitcoin Cash, and then I will just convert that back afterwards. So you need to send a minimum amount, I believe, of about $20. Let's just quickly double check this. Oh, so it's $10. Okay, so I guess they've lowered it, or maybe it can change depending on the day. I'm not 100% how that works, or it might be based on the chain. Either way, it's only going to cost 5 cents. It's very, very cheap. And the minimum is $10. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use Trust Wallet to send about $10 of BNB for Bitcoin Cash. All right, so on Trust Wallet here, I'm sending over about $13 worth. So as you can see here, the transaction went through no problem at all. And on my phone here, just double check this went through, and you can see it updated there. So I just sent it to my read.cash account. But as you can see, this is extremely, extremely fast and very, very effective. You can see the transactions and everything is done flawlessly. Super, super great, but it is not as secure as it could be. So if we go back and take a look at THORSwap, let's actually go through doing almost the exact same transaction, but using a smart contract this time. Essentially the same speed, but it might even be a little faster. Let's test. And by the way that I'm connecting is there's all these different options of wallets that you can use. I personally use Trust Wallet, and connecting to Trust Wallet is very simple. You just open up the app on your phone, and then you go to Settings, and then Wallet Connect. And then from there, you can just connect to the QR code that pops up on your screen. And then you just need to authenticate and confirm the connection. So now my wallet is connected. You can see that the wallet is connected here. And you can see the coins that I've got attached that are tradable within what I have connected. And we could just do a very, very simple transaction here where I'll switch from BNB to RUNE. These are both on their own native chain, and we're going to be doing a cross swap via a smart contract. So again, this might sound really technical and kind of like complex, but this is so important because it's never been possible before something like THORSwap. And that's what makes this so important and useful. And that's why I think RUNE has a pretty good use case ahead of it. And that's why I've been investing. I don't have a crazy amount of RUNE, but I'm slowly just building it up, and I will continue to be adding to it as time goes on, because there's clearly, it makes sense to be using it. The only thing that I would caveat this with is RUNE itself isn't that important, but it's slightly reflective of how well this exchange is doing. In the same way most exchange coins are. The big difference here, though, is that by investing in RUNE, you're kind of investing in the concept of decentralization for trading and exchanges, and that's very, very important and very powerful and very useful to a lot of people, especially anyone who actually really cares about blockchain, privacy, anonymity, and decentralization. So let's actually go through and make a trade. You can just go over to the swap section here, and it trades very similarly, or it feels very similar to like a Uniswap. So let's do an example. We're going to trade BNB for RUNE. Just add a little bit more RUNE to my bags here. I like to keep about 0.2 BNB, so I'm just going to trade 0.5. That's only about $20 or so, but now you're going to be able to see how quickly and easily this goes through. And this is through a smart contract. That is the main thing here. So you can see this is in process, and it usually only takes like, I would say 30 seconds max, but it could also technically depend on the chain that you use, obviously, because say you send a very slow Ethereum transaction, that might take longer, of course, than some other chains. I realized that I had to actually confirm the contract on my phone first with my connected wallet, and I was kind of like waiting a little bit for it to happen, and nothing was happening, and then I realized. And it is completed. I think that took about 20 to 25 seconds. So it was actually faster than SideShift, and it was more secure. The main thing is just that you've got less options on here, of course, because they have to do way more work to get everything working. But the next thing that they have coming is Monero. So that's going to be very, very ideal for privacy lovers. And, the more they keep adding, the more viable this is to just use this instead of anything else, really, because this is the most decentralized that you can get, and crossing over to different chains, which is really what we need to see going forward over the next few years. Much more chain interoperability across multiple chains. So really, really great to see. And I'm going to hold on to that RUNE and just keep slowly building up my bags of more and more RUNE, because I think it's a really, really great cryptocurrency. I mean, you saw this was extremely fast, really not that hard to do. I know all this extra stuff seems a little bit more complicated, but the basics of just being able to trade a coin from one chain to another chain, which was previously so challenging to do in a very secure environment, is now solved by what THORSwap is offering and what RUNE does alongside that. So that's everything. Let me know what you guys think about this. Is there another solution other than THORSwap? Always looking for new solutions to be able to trade in a decentralized way. So if you do know of something else, that would be amazing, and I'm definitely going to check that out. But as far as I know, this is the only solution we have for truly secure cross-chain swaps in a decentralized platform that requires nothing. There's no account or anything. You're just connecting the same way you might for something like Uniswap or PancakeSwap, but then you can do it cross-chain. So very, very interesting. It's not super like sexy and appealing and fun, but the usability and the functions that this provides is extremely, extremely important and useful to everyone in the crypto space. So I hope you guys are able to take advantage of this and that this is useful to you. Let me know. Have you ever had issues with swaps in the past because they weren't swap exchanges that were smart contracts like Simple Swap, block trades, etc.? Have you ever been sort of, kind of upset with the lack of other coins on platforms like Uniswap or PancakeSwap? What coin would you like to see them add next to THORSwap? And will you be checking this out and using it yourself, as well as will you be investing in RUNE out of interest in this and out of belief in endorsing and supporting this? Let me know all that good stuff in the comments below. And since you did watch to the end, do let me know by commenting #1ham in the comments below. And that way I know that you watched the whole video. Anyways, as always, I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business, signing off. Cheers.